Good evening, everyone. We will call to order the Committee Council for Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Development Committee. Our regularly scheduled meeting begins at 6:45, scheduled until 8:15 tonight. And there are instructions in the agenda on how to call in. You can either appear in person or call in remotely. And I'm not going to go through all those, so. And we will start out with the roll call posting of the agenda, and after that, Mayor will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Member Zaragoza,
Here.
Member Madrigal,
Here.
Chair McDonald.
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board on October 4th, 2022.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you, sir. That takes us to item B, public comments on items not on the agenda, but under the purview of this committee. Comments would be limited to 3 minutes. I show one speaker, Mr. Robert Lurie. Is he available, Madam Clerk?
One moment, please, Chair. Caller with phone number ending in 1578. Would you please unmute by pressing *6? Thank you for unmuting. Who's on the line, please?
Yes, this is Robert Lurie.
Thank you, sir. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please go ahead.
Yes, Chairman McDonald and members of the council. I'm a homeowner in Westport, and recently we've had some issues with these temporary rentals where people have sort of violated a lot of common sense harbor regulation, water regulations, and have there's nobody that we can call in regards to this. These guys are diving off the seawall. We've seen people swimming in the navigable waters. There's been issues where kids have been down on the dock without life jackets in kayaks and paddle boards. And I've yelled at these people at times to do this or do that. They don't pay much attention. I'm across the channel. I'm just an old guy that I guess they figure they don't want to listen to. But when I called the Harbor Patrol, they said they no longer service anything north of Channel Islands Bridge. So my question is, if the city is going to allow more permits for these Airbnbs, who is going to police them when they are down on the docks in the waterways?
Okay, I can't really go into a lot of detail on discussion on this because it's not an agendized item, but I will say briefly that code compliance would be the enforcement agency for that underneath the Building and Safety Division. So the Public Works Director is here. I will give him your phone number and ask that a member of staff reach out to you and get some more information so they can proceed with this.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for your comments, sir.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Madam Clerk, do we have any additional speakers?
Chair, we do not have any additional speakers at this time. We do not have any speakers virtually, and we do not have any speakers here in person. Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to item C1, consent agenda. Recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Development Committee approve the minutes of the September 27th, 2022 regular meeting as presented.
So moved.
Hang on, let me check and see if we got any speakers. Do we have any speakers for this item, Madam Clerk?
We do not have any speakers for this item. However, we do have a speaker for the next item. Thank you.
Okay, I saw that. When I get to that, I'll be happy to call her. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion by member Madrigal. Yes. Approval of the minutes.
Okay, second it, please.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please. I'm sorry, C1.
C1, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Member Madrigal,
Aye.
Member Zaragoza,
Aye.
Chair McDonald.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, that takes us item D1, Fire Department. Subject is purchase order for South Coast Fire Equipment for 2 fire engines in the amount of $1,990,000, $990,462.28. And Chief, it still amazes me that we're talking almost $2 million. We gotta make sure we get that 28 cents in there, so. And the recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommend the City Council, 1, authorize the mayor to execute a purchase order for South Coast Emergency Fire Equipment in the amount of $1,990,462 or $990,462.28 for the purchase of 2 Pierce fire engines, and also authorize the prepayment of $1,990,462.28 to South Coast Fire Equipment for the purchase of those 2 Pierce fire engines. And when I first read this, I thought for whatever reason, we were buying 4 pieces of equipment. We're just buying 2 pieces of equipment and we're providing the money up front. Pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation on the city's YouTube channel. And Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers on this item?
We do not have any speakers on this item. Thank you, Chair McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So now will be the time for the committee to deliberate on this. I'll open it up for comments from the committee members.
So we, excuse me for, so, Chief, we, in the Finance and Governance Committee, we had, we approved a couple of engines. Is this similar to what or is this the equipment that we're looking for?
Mayor, correct. So this is in finance and governance, that was sort of the moving the resolution for the financing for these 2 engines. This is the actual purchase order for those engines. And certainly I had a conversation with the finance director about bringing both of those things together to council. We still need to work out with the city attorney's office if we can bring them both together so there isn't any of that confusion.
Yeah, so then I want to share again, that this is really important that we replace, those fire engines. And also the other item they were concerned about is that rapidly raising costs, to replace the engines. And as one of the things that I also mentioned before, that the engines, we have engines that are 25 years old, and I think the potential life is about 12 years. That's most. And also one of the things that was discussed before is the new fire engines are going to contain a lot of the materials that potentially could cause cancer, for our firefighters, which I think is important. And we're saving a tremendous amount of money on this, which I really, I think is important. And I just wanted to share that. And $250,000 approximately. And one of the things that I read too, that I think if we continue to do is that we still continue to work with our sister city. That some of this old fire engines that go to our sister city to Ocotlán, Mexico. And also some of the engines are going to be then sent over to Oxnard College for training our firefighters, which I think is really excellent, that we talk about the employee pipeline and we talk about how to train our residents, and I think this is an opportunity for that too. So, which I think is great.
Yes, thank you.
Member Montague?
No comments or questions.
And Mayor, I appreciate your comment about fire engines being 25 years old, but at my age, 25 years isn't a whole lot. But I'm not driven around like a fire truck and work like a workhorse, so I can see where they might wear out quicker. So what's the pleasure of the committee?
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Chair, do we have any speakers on this item before we
I'm sorry.
We do not have any
Okay,
speakers. We do not have any speakers virtually, and we do not have any speakers in person. Thank you.
Thought I'd ask for.
Thank you, Ken.
We do have speakers on the next item. Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. A roll call, please.
May I please verify that we have a first?
Zaragoza first.
Thank you. And a second by Member Madrigal. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Member Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair McDonald,
Yes.
Member Madrigal.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much. That takes us to item 2, which is exchange surplus. I'm sorry, didn't warn my cheaters here. Subject is exempt surplus land declaration, successor agency, Meta Street parcels. Recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommends that the Oxnard Community Development Commission successor agency, 1, adopt a resolution titled a resolution of the Oxnard Community Development Commission successor agency declaring successor agency owned property as described herein to be exempt surplus land pursuant to Government Code Section 54221 paren F, paren 1, paren D, and authorizing the staff to take related actions. And 2, enter into 2 separate grant deeds with the city for the transfer of 2 parcels from the successor agency located at 6th and Meta Street in downtown Oxnard. And the APNs are 201-0-272-170 and 201-0-272-200 to the city for governmental use for $1 each. And then the next recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommends that the City Council, 1, enter into 2 separate grant deeds with the successor agency for the transfer of 2 parcels from the successor agency located at 6th Street and Meta Street in downtown Oxnard. APNs, assessor parcel numbers are 201-0-272-170 and 201-0-272-200 to the city for governmental use for $1 each. And pursuant to Measure M, there was a pre-recorded presentation available on the city's YouTube channel. And the staff member responsible for this is Ashley Golden. I do have one speaker, Ms. Patricia Brown. Pat, your turn.
Since you don't speak into your mics, there's no way I can hear anything. So I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm just winging it, so to speak. Okay, this is on the successor agency, the Meta Street parcels, and there are 2 of those parcels to be exempt surplus land. Yes, they've been there empty for a very, very long time. This really does need to be done as soon as possible. I would like to look at the drawings or photos and drawings of the layouts on these properties on both 6th Street and Meta Street, that whole corner there, that whole area. I am the neighborhood chair. Probably no one else will ever come and take a look at them or give a dang. But if something isn't laid out just right, and I know it, and I don't do something about it, guess where I go? Out. I'm responsible. So when you get, even if it's a walkthrough, the area, okay, we're going to have this here and so forth, where I can ask questions and so forth, that would be okay as well. I'll try to make it as convenient as possible at whatever time somebody can be there. And this isn't going to take very long. Okay, I realize that. So, but I've been through this kind of thing before with the other projects in my neighborhood. We've got 3 new projects. Since I moved in 1993 to the mobile home park, we've got 3 new projects in there already. I mean, good sized ones. And so I diverted some problems in one of them that could have been a catastrophe, but nobody thought about it until I went and saw the drawings and told the
40
fellow
seconds.
that you can't do it that way because, you know, and this was somebody who should have known, who was very well known in the area and had been doing this kind of thing for a long time. So I want to know what's going on. I realize you guys got it on paper, you know everything, that's fine. But when it gets down to any nitty gritty or before, I would like to take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Golden. Any response to Ms. Brown's comment?
Just to clarify, the action tonight is simply for the purchase. We are not ready to go into design and the next steps. There's a lot of other approval bodies necessary for this action. Not only is it to go here, it goes to the council and successor agency, also to the oversight board, to the Department of Finance and to HCD. All of those approvals have to be done before we would ever be able to move into the design phase. So at this point, it is simply the acquiring the property from the successor agency, but there will be community outreach when we get to that point of design if those other actions are approved.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hernandez, do you wish to speak?
Yes.
Excuse me, Chair McDonald, we also have a virtual caller.
Okay. Let's go ahead and let Mr. Hernandez talk, then we'll take the caller. Go ahead, sir.
Good
You have
evening,
3 minutes.
Commission. Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, City staff. I just want to express that I am in full support of this project. I've been closely working with Roger Poirier on the Parks and Recs Commission on pushing this through. I know many have came before me. It's been going on for quite some time. And I'm happy to see this project here and that the city council is supporting it. I understand through the meeting on YouTube that it's going to go through a lot of phases and a lot of steps. So I'm hoping for the best. I love the fact that they included many facts about the neighborhood in 5 Points and how we are in dire need of a park or an open space. So I just want to express that I'm here to wish for the best, and hopefully we can come back with some positive in the future. And I will make sure that Pat Brown stays in touch with all of the meetings as well. So I too want to know what's going on step by step. So we're hoping that the county and the other successor agencies go ahead and approve this for the best of the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Madam Clerk, yeah, I'm going to take a guess and say Roger Poirier is the 3rd speaker. Okay, we
Yes,
can call
Chair.
him, please.
Sure. Mr. Poirier,
Yes, thank you, Chair McDonald. Thank you, Madam City Clerk.
yes,
Oh,
sir, go
it's-
ahead. Thank you.
Yes, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Chair McDonald and Madam City Clerk. It's been a long road with Ms. Pat Brown as the Chair of the 5 Points Neighborhood Council, coming to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Commission's been trying to help the 5 Points neighborhood get some kind of open space for many years. And it's great that we're at this point. And you know, the commission's taken many votes in support of acquiring these parcels, and I hope that that the acquisition of these parcels goes forward without any obstructions. I think it'll be a great asset. It'll certainly raise the attractive quality of 5 Points to make it more livable and enjoyable to live in that neighborhood. And we're getting a lot more residents coming into that neighborhood as we have at least 2 projects for many mansions being built. And I'm sure that along Oxnard Boulevard, we'll be getting a lot more residents as well in the future, and they'll all be residents of the 5 Points neighborhood. So thanks again. And I hope that everybody in the city council is in support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, do we have any additional speakers?
We do not have any additional speakers on this item. Thank you, Chair McDonald.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Madrigal, any comments?
No real questions, just comments. Hopefully, as all speakers have said, this goes through the process and there's no obstructions along the way.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor Zaragoza, any comments?
Yes, I also like to add that I think I'm going to vote to accept this. I think it's good. I think it's 5 Points needed. I think it's going to help us with affordable housing and I just want to thank Adam Smith. Well, he did a really good job. That's the longest presentation ever. And the question is, boy, he never missed a word, He just did a good job. And I just I think one of the things that my understanding is, Ashley, that if we don't do this, surplus property becomes state property. What's the reasoning there?
You have two options when it comes to the surplus or to the successor agency property. And that's part of why we're back before you tonight. Was the direction from your last was to declare it as agency use rather than the surplus use. If you declared it as surplus, that is then what, meaning it's not going to be used for one of our governmental uses, which an open space falls within a governmental use. So if it went as surplus, then that's that similar process that we did in downtown. I think that was back in February at your meeting. We have to go put it out to affordable housing developers first for a certain time period. And then at the end of that, you can put it on the open market if you don't reach a deal at the end of that process. So the direction from the council was to declare this for the agency use. But in general, any of the successor agency properties that we have remaining, we need to make those decision points on those properties. And this was the previous direction from council.
So that kind of gives the city the opportunity to kind of use it for the best and highest use.
Correct.
Thank you.
Sir,
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. Madam Clerk, we have a motion by the mayor, a second by me. Roll call, please. And this would be for all three actions that are.
All three actions, yes.
Chair McDonald,
Yes,
Member Madrigal,
Yes.
Member Zaragoza.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Mhm.
okay, thank you very much. That takes us to item E, items for future agendas. Do either of the committee members have anything they'd like to hear in the future?
Not at the moment.
No? I don't have anything, so that will take us to item F, adjournment. We will stand adjourned at 7:08 in the evening. Thank you all for your participation.
So we'll be back with 8:30.
You'll be back at 8:30.
Well.
Thank you.